Fleet Commander Vextil drummed their clawed fingers against the command throne's crystalline surface, all four eyes fixed on the dead human vessel floating against the star-speckled void. The Hyperion hung motionless, its once gleaming hull now scarred by 3 weeks of desperate combat. The quantum drive that had made the ship so infuriatingly elusive had finally fallen silent. "Another scan," Vextil ordered, mandibles clicking with barely contained frustration. Their crew didn't dare point out that this was the 12th detailed scan in the past hour. "No change in status, Commander," First Officer Kellenin reported, their voice carefully neutral. "The human vessel remains without power. All systems are dormant." Vextil rose from the command throne, stalking toward the main viewport. The Hyperion should have been nothing more than an insignificant delay in the Quilleri advance toward Earth. Instead, this single ship had turned the entire campaign into a laughingstock. 3 weeks of humiliation. 3 weeks of watching their carefully coordinated fleet movements shattered by hit-and-run attacks that seemed to defy the laws of physics themselves. "Show me the battle record," Vextil commanded. The air before them shimmered as holographic displays materialized, showing the Hyperion's impossible maneuvers. In one engagement, the human ship had somehow appeared simultaneously in 3 different locations, splinting their formation. In another, it had transformed the gravity wake of a Quilleri dreadnought into a weapon, using it to slingshot debris through 2 heavy cruisers. "Primitive species," Vextil muttered, studying the footage. "Barely achieve faster-than-light travel, yet they build ships that—" They trailed off, mandibles twitching as they watched the Hyperion execute another reality-defying turn. A soft chime interrupted their brooding. "Commander," the sensor officer called out, "we're detecting unusual quantum fluctuations from the human vessel." "Explain." "The readings are inconsistent with a dead ship, but they don't match any known power signature either. It's as if the quantum drive is both active and inactive simultaneously." Vextil's outer eyes narrowed while their inner pair focused on the Hyperion's broken form. They had lost too many ships underestimating human ingenuity. Launch probe drones, full spectrum analysis. The drones emerged from the flagship's launch bays, their sensor arrays glowing as they approached the Hyperion. Data streams filled the command center's displays, showing the vessel's condition in excruciating detail. Hull breaches gaped along its port side. The engine section was cold, its quantum drive crystals dark and lifeless. Emergency bulkheads had sealed off entire decks exposed to vacuum. "Life signs," Vextil demanded. "None detected, Commander. Environmental systems are offline throughout the vessel. If any humans survived the last engagement, they would have suffocated hours ago." Vextil's mandibles clicked in thought. The rational part of their mind knew the Hyperion was finished. Yet something felt wrong. In 3 weeks of combat, the humans had never followed expected patterns. Why would they start now? Status of the planet Cracker Beam. "Charged and ready, Commander. Targeting solutions locked." Vextil returned to their command throne, claws scraping against its crystalline surface. Standard doctrine called for disabled enemy vessels to be boarded and captured. The intelligence value alone would be significant, but standard doctrine hadn't been written with humans in mind. The moment we declared this sector a viable expansion zone, the humans should have surrendered, Vextil said, more to themselves than their crew. Instead, they've delayed our advance with tactics that border on impossible. This single ship has cost us more than the entire Centauri campaign. They watched the quantum fluctuation readings spike and fade, like a heart beating too faintly to detect. No, they wouldn't risk boarding this vessel, not when it had already proven capable of turning physics itself into a weapon. "Target the Hyperion with the planet Cracker Beam," Vextil commanded. "Full power. I want that ship reduced to its component atoms." The massive weapon began to charge, its energy readings climbing toward civilization-ending levels. Vextil's inner eyes remained fixed on the quantum fluctuations, watching them dance across the displays like ghostly footprints. "Whatever final trick you're planning," they whispered to the dead ship, it dies with you. The Empire strikes. Vextil accessed their personal battle logs while the planet Cracker beam charge, mandibles twitching as their latest entry appeared in the air before them. Campaign Day 47. The humans continue to defy conventional military logic. Today, their vessel Hyperion somehow transformed its quantum wake into a cascade of temporal echoes, making our targeting systems perceive it in multiple locations simultaneously. 3 more cruisers lost. The High Command demands answers I cannot provide. They scrolled back further, each entry darkening their mood. Campaign Day 35. Another setback. The humans have developed some method of using their quantum drive's crystalline matrix to bend reality in ways our scientists claim are impossible. When cornered, the Hyperion executed a maneuver that briefly caused it to exist in 2 quantum states at once. Constructor Renval insists such technology should be beyond a species that achieved FTL travel mere decades ago. Campaign Day 28. First contact with human resistance vessel designated Hyperion. Initial scans suggested primitive design and inferior weapons. This assessment proved catastrophically wrong. Recommend immediate revision of tactical doctrine regarding human ships. Vextil closed the logs with a sharp gesture. Display archive footage of the Proxima Centauri engagement. The command center's holographic displays shimmered, showing a civilian mining vessel surrounded by Quillari warships. The commander's inner eyes narrowed as they watched the seemingly harmless human ship suddenly transform its mining equipment into a gravity weapon, creating a localized singularity that crushed 2 destroyers. Pause playback. Vextil ordered. Tactical analysis. First Officer Kellenen stepped forward, their scales shifting to a deeper shade of blue. The humans demonstrate a disturbing ability to repurpose technology in ways our engineers consider impossible. Their quantum drive designs alone violate 3 fundamental principles of unified field theory. Yet they work. Vextil noted, rising from their command throne to pace the deck. Every engagement follows the same pattern. We corner them. Their inferior technology should ensure our victory. And then, they gestured at the battle footage with one clawed hand. Commander, the sensor officer interrupted. The quantum fluctuations from the Hyperion are increasing in frequency. Vextil's outer eyes swiveled toward the dead ship. Impossible. Their drive is cold. Yes, Commander, but the crystalline matrix itself appears to be resonating. The tactical display updated, showing waves of quantum distortion rippling through the Hyperion structure. Each pulse seemed to bend local spacetime like ripples in a pond, yet sensors confirmed the ship remained completely powerless. Constructor. Vextil called to their chief engineer. Explain this. Constructor Pelmac approached the display, their scales paling. Humans use quantum crystalline matrices in ways we abandoned centuries ago. Our ancestors deemed the technology too unpredictable, too prone to generating cascading reality distortions. We developed superior bioelectric systems instead. And if they found a way to control those distortions? Impossible, Pelmac insisted, but their scales betrayed uncertainty. The energy requirements alone. Vextil's mandibles clicked in frustration. How many times had their experts declared human innovations impossible? Yet with each encounter, the primitive species proved more dangerous, more unpredictable. Planet Cracker beam status. 90% charged, Commander. Targeting solutions remain locked. Vextil studied the Hyperion's broken form. 3 weeks ago, they had expected this campaign to be a simple display of Quillari supremacy. Instead, every engagement had turned into a lesson in human ingenuity. Even their victories felt hollow, purchased at a cost that made the High Command question their competence. The humans should have surrendered, Kellenen observed quietly. Any rational species would have recognized our technological superiority. Rational. Vextil's laugh was bitter. They turned a mining laser into a weapon that ignores shields. They reconfigure their quantum drives in ways that should tear their ships apart. Nothing about them is rational. The quantum fluctuations pulsed again, stronger now. Vextil watched the readings with all four eyes, remembering every impossible human victory. Even their failures proved deadly, like the destroyer that died pursuing a crippled Earth vessel into an asteroid field. Planet cracker beam at full charge, Tactical reported. Vextil raised their hand, preparing to give the fire order. Yet something nagged at their consciousness, a pattern they couldn't quite grasp. The Hyperion had fought too brilliantly to die like this. Unless, what are you planning? They whispered to the dead ship. What impossible thing will you do next? 3 weeks earlier, Captain Michael Torres nearly shot his coffee across the room when Dr. Amanda Walker burst through his quarters door at 300 hours, her blonde hair wild and eyes blazing with the kind of manic energy he'd learned to both fear and respect. "I know how to kill their whole damn fleet," she announced, clutching her quantum scanner like a lifeline. "But you're going to think I'm crazy." Torres set down his coffee, noting how his quantum engineer's hands trembled with excitement, or possibly caffeine overdose. "Doctor, it's 3 in the morning. I already think you're crazy." "The crystals, Captain." She crossed to his desk, sweeping aside his reports to place her scanner down. "They're not just power conductors. They're quantum computational matrices. Every crystal in our drive system is technically a computer. We've just been using them wrong this whole time." Torres rubbed his eyes. "Walker, we're facing a Kulari battle fleet with planet-cracking weapons, unless those crystals can turn into missiles. Better." She activated her scanner, projecting a hologram of the Hyperion's quantum drive. "Look at the crystalline structure. Really look at it. What do you see?" "A standard quantum matrix array. The same one you've been modifying for 3 weeks to keep us alive." Walker shook her head, her excitement building. "No, that's what we're trained to see. But these patterns," her fingers traced lines through the hologram. "They're like neural pathways. Each crystal is capable of quantum computation even without power. They just need the right kind of energy to wake them up." Torres leaned forward, something in her tone catching his attention. After 15 years of command, he'd learned to recognize the moment when genius and madness intersected. "Explain." "The Kulari use bioelectric systems because they think quantum crystalline computing is too unpredictable, too dangerous." Walker's grin turned fierce. "They're right, but they never figured out how to control the chaos. We did, we just didn't know it. Every modification I've made to keep us fighting, the temporal echoes, the reality phasing, it wasn't just the drive doing that. The crystals were computing quantum solutions." She adjusted the scanner, zooming in on a single crystal. "We can reprogram the entire matrix, turn the whole ship into one massive quantum computer. It would keep calculating even after we lose power, just waiting for the right energy input to execute its program." Torres felt a chill run down his spine as he began to understand. The planet cracker beam. Exactly. Walker's eyes lit up. Their own weapon would provide exactly the kind of energy we need. The crystalline matrix would catch it, channel it, use it to execute calculations we programmed in advance. We could turn their planet cracker into a fleet killer. She pulled up another diagram, this one showing complex quantum mathematics that made Torres's head hurt. "The only catch is, we have to let the ship die. Power down completely. Every crystal in the matrix has to be in a dormant state to accept the new programming. And we'd only get one shot at it." Torres stood, walking to the viewport. The Hyperion had been fighting a losing battle for weeks, surviving only through Walker's increasingly brilliant and increasingly desperate modifications to their quantum systems. He could see the toll it had taken on her, the weight of keeping them alive through pure mathematical innovation. "You're talking about turning our ship into a quantum trap," he said finally. "Playing dead to lure them in." "Yes." Walker's voice softened. "A Hyperion would never fly again. But she'd take the whole damn fleet with her." Torres turned back to his quantum engineer, seeing not just the caffeine-fueled mania, but the steel beneath it. The same determination that had kept them alive through 3 weeks of impossible battles. "Show me the numbers," he said. "Everything. If we're going to sacrifice this ship, I need to know it's worth it." Walker's hands flew over her scanner, filling the air with equations and projections. "Sir, when I'm done, you won't believe what a dead ship can do." As she walked him through the mathematics of their salvation, Torres realized humanity's greatest weapon had never been their technology. It was their ability to see possibilities where their enemies saw only limitations. The Quilleri thought they were chasing a primitive species. They were about to learn how dangerous primitive could be. Junior scientist Mevtak's scales rippled with anxiety as they studied the readings from the dead human vessel. The quantum fluctuations shouldn't exist. Every power source on the Hyperion was cold, every system dormant. Yet there they were, dancing across their display like ghostly footprints in space-time. "Senior constructor," they called out, mandibles clicking nervously. "I believe you should examine these readings." Constructor Pelmac glided to their station, outer eyes narrowing at the display. "Another sensor malfunction. We've discussed this, junior scientist. Your enthusiasm for anomalies is admirable, but—" "No, constructor." Mevtak highlighted a particular pattern in the data stream. "These fluctuations, they're organized. Look at the quantum resonance patterns. They're moving through the human ship's crystalline matrix like what?" Pelmac's scales darkened with irritation. "Like code," Mevtak whispered. "The patterns repeat every 2.73 seconds, but each cycle is slightly different, as if the crystals are processing information." Pelmac's inner eyes focused on the display while their outer pair studied their junior scientist. "Impossible. Their quantum drive is dead. Without power, crystalline matrices are inert. This is basic physics, which you should know." Mevtak's scales flushed pale with embarrassment, but they persisted. "Constructor, in the Academy, we studied why our ancestors abandoned quantum crystalline computing. The cascading reality distortions, the unpredictable computational ghosts that would appear in dormant systems. Ancient history," Pelmac dismissed. "We evolved beyond such primitive technology. The bioelectric systems that power our fleet are superior in every way. But what if the humans found a way to control those distortions?" Mevtak pulled up historical records, their claws dancing across the holographic interface. "Look at the Hyperion's battle record. The temporal echoes, the reality phasing, all classic signs of quantum computational cascade effects, but controlled, directed. You suggest," Pelmac's voice dripped with disdain, "that humans, barely spacefaring humans, solved problems that stumped our greatest scientists. I suggest they never saw them as problems." Mevtak's scales darkened with conviction. "Our ancestors abandoned this technology because they couldn't control it. But humans, they gestured at the battle footage playing silently above them. They embrace chaos. They don't try to control it. They ride it." A new spike in the quantum readings drew their attention. The fluctuations were growing stronger, their patterns more complex. Mevtak's inner eyes widened as they recognized mathematical sequences hidden in the noise. "Constructor, please. These readings. Enough." Pelmac's scales flashed warning colors. "You waste time chasing sensor ghosts while our planet cracker beam charges. Return to your assigned duties." Mevtak watched their superior glide away, frustration coursing through their four hearts. They turned back to their displays, claws moving quickly to capture and analyze every fluctuation. Something was happening inside that dead ship's crystalline matrix, something that tickled ancient warnings in their genetic memory. A text from the Academy days surfaced in their mind. Quantum crystalline matrices never truly die. They sleep, they dream, and sometimes they wake up. New data scrolled across their screen. The fluctuations were synchronizing, forming patterns that resembled neural networks. But these networks operated on quantum scales, processing information in ways that should require massive power inputs. Mevtak's scales paled as understanding struck. They began typing frantically, trying to compose a warning. The humans hadn't abandoned their ship. They had transformed it into something else, something that could think without power, calculate without energy. They were halfway through their report when Commander Vextil's voice echoed through the command center. Planet Cracker Beam at full charge. Prepare to fire. Mevtak's claws froze above their console. In their display, the quantum fluctuations from the Hyperion pulsed like a heartbeat, growing stronger with each cycle. Not sensor ghosts, they realized. Not random decay. The dead ship was waiting for something, and they were about to give it exactly what it wanted. Planet Cracker Beam firing in 3. The weapons officer's voice echoed through the command center, their scales glowing with anticipation. Commander Vextil leaned forward on their command throne, all 4 eyes fixed on the Hyperion's broken form. Energy readings from the planet Cracker spiked into civilization-ending ranges as the massive weapon prepared to fire. 2. Junior scientist Mevtak's claws flew across their console, desperately trying to complete their warning. The quantum fluctuations from the human vessel had reached unprecedented levels, forming patterns that screamed danger to their trained eyes. 1. A lance of pure destruction erupted from the Kulari flagship, a beam of energy capable of splitting planets. It crossed the void toward the Hyperion in less than a second, its power output exceeding the total energy consumption of most civilizations. Then something impossible happened. The beam bent. What? Vextil rose from their throne, mandibles clicking in disbelief. Report. The beam is being redirected, the weapons officer stammered, their scales paling to ghost white. The human ship's crystalline matrix is somehow intercepting and processing the energy. Mevtak watched in fascination as their earlier theories proved horrifyingly correct. The Hyperion's entire structure had become a quantum computational array. Each crystal in its matrix caught a portion of the planet Cracker's energy, channeling it through pathways that shouldn't exist. Shut it down. Vextil commanded. Cut power to the beam. We can't, Commander. The energy transfer has created a feedback loop. The beam. It's feeding the human ship's computational processes. The Hyperion's hull began to glow with impossible colors as quantum calculations rippled through its crystalline structure. What had appeared to be battle damage now revealed itself as an intricate network of crystalline pathways, each one precisely positioned to catch and redirect the planet Cracker's energy. First Officer Kilnan's scales shifted to warning colors. Commander, the human vessel is executing some kind of quantum program. The mathematics involved. Our systems can't even display the equations. On Mevtak's screen, the quantum fluctuations exploded into complex patterns that made their inner eyes ache. The crystalline matrix, they shouted, abandoning protocol in their excitement. It's not just computing, it's reconfiguring local space-time. The Hyperion's hull now blazed like a newborn star, but the light bent in ways that violated physics itself. The planet Cracker's energy continued to pour into the ship's structure, each crystal transforming raw power into pure computational potential. Impossible. Constructor Pelmac whispered, their earlier dismissal forgotten as they watched humanity's trap snap shut. The power requirements for quantum computation on this scale. They're using our own weapon to power it. Mevtak finished, their scales rippling with scientific awe. The planet Cracker beam provides exactly the energy signature their dormant crystals needed. We didn't kill their ship. We woke it up. Commander Vextil's outer eyes narrowed as understanding dawned. They planned this. Every battle, every retreat. They were studying our weapon, calculating exactly how to hijack its energy. The command center's displays flickered as reality itself began to warp around the Hyperion. The quantum calculations spreading through its crystalline matrix had reached critical mass, transforming the dead ship into something that hadn't existed since the Kulari's ancestors abandoned quantum computing. Multiple quantum wavefront distortions forming. The sensor officer screamed. The human vessel is generating some kind of... They never finished their sentence. The space around the Hyperion twisted, folded, and transformed as billions of quantum calculations executed simultaneously. The ship's entire crystalline structure had become a lens, focusing and redirecting the planet Cracker's power in ways that made mockery of conventional physics. Vextil watched in horror as their greatest weapon became their undoing. The supposedly primitive humans hadn't just survived their technology. They had turned it against them in a way so brilliant, so completely outside expected parameters, that even seeing it happen didn't make it feel real. Full retreat, they ordered, but in their hearts, they knew it was too late. The mousetrap had snapped shut, and they were the ones caught in it. Recovered technical log. Dr. Amanda Walker, Quantum Engineering. Timestamp: 4:47 hours, 3 weeks prior. The coffee's gone cold again. 4th cup tonight, but I can't stop now. Not when we're so close. The quantum matrices are speaking to me in ways I never imagined possible. Everyone thinks a crystal is just a crystal, a way to channel energy, nothing more. God, we've been so blind. Timestamp: 5:12 hours. Breakthrough. The crystalline structures don't just channel quantum energy, they remember it. Every modification I've made to keep us fighting has left traces in the matrix. Quantum echoes. The crystals are learning, adapting, evolving with each impossible maneuver we force them to execute. I've run the simulations 50 times now. The math doesn't lie. We don't need power to make them compute. We just need the right kind of energy signature to wake them up. Timestamp: 5:30 hours. Captain Torres thinks I'm crazy. Maybe I am. But he's given me permission to proceed. The entire ship's crystalline matrix will become one massive quantum computer. Every battle scar, every hull breach, we're going to turn them into computational pathways. The Hyperion won't just play dead. She'll dream in mathematics until they give her exactly what she needs. Video log entry: Engineering Bay 4. Timestamp: 700 hours. Dr. Walker appears exhausted but energized, her hand steady as she manipulates complex quantum diagrams in the air before her. The key was never controlling the chaos, she explains to the camera. The Quilleri gave up on quantum crystalline computing because they couldn't eliminate the unpredictable elements. But we humans, she laughs, a sound of pure discovery. We're chaos monkeys. We don't eliminate variables. We surf them. She pulls up a simulation showing the Hyperion's entire structure. Every crystal in this ship can be reprogrammed to execute quantum calculations without conventional power. They just need an energy signature strong enough to kickstart the process. Something like, oh, I don't know. Her grin turns predatory. A planet cracker beam. Technical specifications: Project Ghost Dance. Timestamp: 900 hours. Primary crystalline matrix reconfigured for dormant quantum computing. Secondary pathways established through battle damage patterns. Tertiary computational nodes placed at key structural intersections. Energy absorption coefficients calculated for optimal planet cracker beam harvesting. Quantum resonance patterns programmed for automated execution upon energy input. Estimated computational capacity at full activation: 10^45 operations per second. Personal log: Dr. Amanda Walker. Timestamp: 1200 hours. The modifications are complete. The Hyperion isn't just a ship anymore. She's the largest quantum computer ever built. Every crystal, every fragment of our quantum drive has been reprogrammed. When we power down, she won't die. She'll sleep, dream, wait. They think we're primitives. They mock our quantum drive designs, call them unstable, dangerous. They're right. We built our engines out of chaos because we never learned we couldn't. While they were perfecting their bioelectric systems, we were teaching crystals to dance on the edge of reality. Final log entry: Dr. Amanda Walker. Timestamp: 1500 hours. This will be my last entry. The Hyperion goes dark in an hour. Everything depends on the Quilleri doing exactly what their psychology suggests they'll do. Try to swat an annoying primitive species with overwhelming force. They don't understand what we've created here. A ghost ship that thinks in quantum mathematics. A silicon dream waiting to wake up. They'll fire their planet cracker beam, expecting destruction, and instead, they'll learn why humans are the most dangerous species in the galaxy. Not because we're stronger or more advanced, but because we never learned the rules we were supposed to follow. We built quantum drives that shouldn't work. We taught crystals to compute without power. We looked at the impossible and said, why not? The Hyperion dies today, but in her death, she'll become something new. Something that will haunt the Kulari nightmares for generations. Sweet dreams, beautiful ship. Show them what impossible really means. Reality shattered. There was no other way to describe what happened as the Hyperion's crystalline matrix reached full computational capacity. The planet cracker beam's energy, rather than destroying the human vessel, had transformed it into something that shouldn't exist. A quantum computer operating on the scale of a capital ship. Commander Vextil watched in horror as Spacetime itself began to fold around their fleet. The Hyperion now blazed with impossible colors, each crystal in its structure executing calculations that rewrote the laws of physics in its local space. Status, they demanded, all four eyes fixed on the nightmare unfolding before them. The human vessel's crystalline matrix has achieved quantum coherence across its entire structure. First Officer Kellenin reported, their scales shifting through colors of terror. It's using our weapon's energy to power computations that our systems can't even track. Junior scientist Mevtak's claws flew across their console, recording data that would rewrite physics textbooks, assuming any of them survived to report it. The quantum calculations, they're not random. This is the most precisely engineered cascade effect I've ever seen. Every crystal is performing exactly the function it was programmed for. The Hyperion's hull now rippled with mathematical precision, each portion of the planet cracker beam's energy being caught, redirected, and processed through crystalline pathways that transformed raw power into computational potential. What had appeared to be battle damage revealed itself as an intricate network of quantum processors, waiting for exactly this moment to activate. Impossible, Constructor Pelmac whispered, their earlier scientific certainty shattered. The energy requirements alone should have. They're using our own weapon to power it. Mevtak finished, their scales rippling with a mixture of terror and admiration. The planet cracker beam provides exactly the power signature their dormant crystals needed. We didn't just wake their ship up. We gave it enough energy to rewrite reality. On the main display, the space around the Hyperion began to twist. The quantum calculations spreading through its crystalline matrix had reached critical mass, transforming the dead ship into something that defied classification. Each crystal acted as both computer and lens, focusing and redirecting the planet cracker's energy with mathematical precision. Multiple quantum wavefront distortions forming. The sensor officer screamed. The human vessel is generating some kind of. It's like they're turning our own weapon's energy signature inside out. Commander Vextil rose from their command throne, mandibles clicking rapidly as they processed the impossible scene before them. Shut down the planet cracker beam. Cut all power. We can't. The weapons officer's scales had gone ghost white. The energy transfer is self-sustaining now. The human ship, it's using our own beam to generate a quantum feedback loop. Through the command center's viewport, they watched as their fleet's greatest weapon became its undoing. The Hyperion's crystalline structure glowed with increasing intensity, each pulse of energy being captured, computed, and redirected with terrifying precision. Look at the pattern, Mevtak breathed, their scientific curiosity momentarily overwhelming their fear. The quantum calculations, they're not just random chaos. This is an engineered cascade effect. They designed their entire ship to become a quantum lens. The first blast of redirected energy struck a Kulari cruiser, its shields useless against weapons powered by its own fleet's energy signature. The ship didn't explode. It simply ceased to exist as localized spacetime collapsed in on itself. Full retreat, Vextil ordered, but they already knew it was too late. The Hyperion had become a nexus of quantum computation, each crystal in its structure working in perfect harmony to turn the planet Cracker Beam's power back against its creators. As their fleet began to disintegrate under precisely calculated quantum strikes, Vextil finally understood. The humans hadn't just outfought them, they had turned defeat itself into a weapon. Their dead ship had become death incarnate, executing revenge through pure mathematics. The Quilleri had expected to swat a primitive species. Instead, they had given power to a silicon ghost that danced on the edge of reality, teaching them the true meaning of technological terror. Final transmission. Dr. Amanda Walker to Earth Defense Command. Timestamp: moments before Hyperion power down. To whoever finds this recording, the Hyperion sacrifice wasn't just tactical. It was evolutionary. We didn't just build a trap. We created a new form of warfare. The Quilleri thought they were hunting a primitive species. Instead, they're about to learn that humanity's greatest strength is our ability to turn their assumptions into weapons. Every crystal in this ship now sings with quantum mathematics. When they fire their planet Cracker Beam, expecting destruction, they'll instead provide exactly the energy signature needed to execute our final program. The Hyperion won't just die. She'll transcend. Emergency broadcast. Quilleri command frequency. Timestamp: current moment. This is Commander Vextil to all Quilleri vessels. Full retreat. The human ship has. It's become something else. Some kind of quantum computational entity. Our weapons only make it stronger. Repeat. Do not engage. Do not. Static consumed the transmission as another quantum cascade ripped through the Quilleri formation. Ships didn't explode. They simply ceased to exist as space-time folded around them, with mathematical precision. Ship's log, U.S. Hyperion. Final entry by Captain Michael Torres. Timestamp: 3 weeks prior. Dr. Walker's plan is insane. Brilliant, but insane. We're going to turn our entire ship into a quantum computer, powered by the enemy's own weapons. The crew has been evacuated. Only Walker and I remain to complete the final modifications. I've served on the Hyperion for 7 years. She's been more than a ship. She's been our home, our guardian, our strength. Today, we teach her to become something more. Not just a vessel, but a message to any species that thinks humanity's primitive technology makes us easy prey. The Quilleri believe their bioelectric systems represent the peak of evolution. They abandoned quantum crystalline computing because they couldn't control it. We humans, we never tried to control it. We embraced the chaos, rode the quantum waves, and taught crystals to dream. Battle analysis. Junior scientist Mevtak. Timestamp: current moment. The young Quilleri's claws flew across their console, recording data that would revolutionize their understanding of physics, if they survived to report it. The Hyperion had become a nexus of quantum computation, each crystal in its structure working in perfect harmony to redirect and amplify the planet Cracker Beam's energy. The mathematics, they whispered, scales rippling with terrified awe. It's beautiful. They turned their whole ship into a quantum lens, every battle scar, every crystal, precisely positioned to catch and redirect our weapon's energy. We didn't kill their ship. We woke it up. Final moment. Commander Vextil's personal log. Timestamp: current moment. The humans didn't just outthink us. They transformed defeat itself into victory. Their dead ship became death incarnate, executing revenge through pure mathematics. We thought we were teaching primitives their place in the galaxy. Instead, the commander's final words were cut short as quantum calculations rippled through their flagship, reality itself bending to the will of human ingenuity. Emergency transmission. Quilleri High Command. Timestamp: 6 hours later. Alert to all fleets. Sol system is hereby designated maximum hazard zone. Humans have demonstrated ability to transform disabled vessels into quantum weapons of unprecedented power. Their technology is not primitive. It has evolved along paths we abandoned as too dangerous to pursue. Preliminary analysis suggests their entire technological base may be built on principles we deemed impossible. Exercise extreme caution. These humans don't just use quantum mechanics, they weaponize impossibility itself. Recovery Team Report, Earth Defense Command. Timestamp, 1 week later. Where the Hyperion made her final stand, space still ripples with quantum echoes. The ship itself is gone, transformed into pure energy and computation in its final moments, but it succeeded beyond its creator's wildest dreams. The Quillary fleet is destroyed. Their planet cracker technology, once their greatest weapon, now stands as testament to humanity's ability to turn an enemy's strength against them. And in classified labs across Earth, scientists study the quantum echoes left behind, learning new principles that will revolutionize human understanding of reality itself. The Hyperion didn't just die. She evolved, teaching the galaxy that humanity's greatest weapon isn't our technology. It's our ability to look at the impossible and ask, why not? In death, she became legend. And legends, like quantum ghosts, never truly die.